Hey guys, it's the team here at Authentic Mission, and well, it's 420 and it's 2016. It's gonna be weird when it's 42020. Anyway, so I'm gonna try my best to clarify one thing here. Occasionally on the Authentic Mission page, which will be launched soon, and on various pro cannabis pages, you may have heard me and the team say positive and like say about treating God's plant with respect and don't disrespect it and blah blah blah. You might be wondering what I mean by that, like what's disrespecting it, what's not, and certain things like that. Look, I've been on both sides of it, as well as some of the Authentic Mission team members in the past, and there is people that disrespect God's plan, and I was one of them. When you're just waking up and you're just getting stoned just for the sake of getting stoned, not to relax, and like it's more like it becomes let's just wake and bake just because it's the cool thing to do. That's when the seeds of disrespect, as far as I'm concerned, are planted and that's mostly from I'm not talking about the people that do wake up and smoke in the morning to relax, or smoke, or maybe have a cookie in the morning, even, or make some cannabis butter and then have some toast. That's not the people. Like, those people that make cannabis butter and cannabis food don't disrespect God's plan. But when you're doing it just for the sake of getting stoned, or maybe stoned isn't even the right word, if you're doing it just to get messed up for the sake of just get messed up, and not for the sake of like relieving some pain, or just to relax and pray and focus on your prayer, or certain things, that's the difference. If you're waking up and you want to put some cannabis butter on some toast, and you're waking up and you want to maybe smoke a bowl just so you can relax, and maybe think of what you got to do today or whatever, then that's a little bit, that's okay. You know what I mean? And if you're smoking because you just need some time to like lay down and meditate, or just sit there and pray to God, and just don't really care about who's around, but you're just praying, then that's another thing too. But if you're using it for dark purposes, then dark energy will come into it. And like, I used to drink a lot, and now I don't. Right now, it's almost non-existent. I'm going to admit, because I'm human, I occasionally still drink and that sort of thing, and that's fine. But it's it's something between me and God. I don't want to necessarily drink just for the sake of drinking. Or I've been, I've had my spiritual struggles, and then I've decided to just try and find peace. And it's a daily struggle. You're not gonna just um, you're not just gonna find God, and everything's gonna be fine. Everybody's got their own journey to God, and when I decided to start smoking again, I had to pray about it and think about it. And like, with my disabilities, I had valid reasons for doing it. Like, I have a bad back. I have anxieties. Sometimes, like, if I'm not sleeping properly, I need to smoke, or I need to go have some toast with butter on it. And if I'm having such high anxiety that I'm having trouble to eat. But I hope that kind of clarifies what I mean. Like, look, it's 420 now, and I know there's people going to be blazing just for the sake of blazing and it being 420. That's okay to a point, but if you're doing it for an activist reason and you believe in God's plan and you know the good it can do, like curing cancer or not curing, because you gotta pray with it too, but it can help you manage cancer. And actually, I shouldn't say that it doesn't cure cancer, because there's been recent videos that show that it actually attacks certain cancer cells. So I've, over the last 2 years, been really, really thinking about this, and I was on both sides of it, and that's why I had to think about it. There is dark people around that use cannabis for the wrong reasons. There is dark people around that go from cannabis to hard drugs, but I tend to believe, upon reflection, that it's not even like people say cannabis is a gateway drug. Guess what? I'm saying this on 420. I don't think it is. I think alcohol is more of a gateway drug, because I've sat there and I've watched people sit there and smoke a joint, and somebody else comes in and offers them something harder, and they're just like, no, that's okay, man, I don't want to do that. But if you're at a party and you're drinking and somebody offers you, I don't know, let's say hypothetically a line of Coke, guess what? You're more inclined to do that. So alcohol is the gateway drug, but yet we end up penalizing it. So we end up penalizing cannabis. We don't end up really looking at alcohol the way we should. Look at recently, alcohol, right? Killed those kids in Toronto, Canada, like the 3 kids and the grandfather, the Neville Lake, Marco Muzzo, and I hope Marco Muzzo finds God, and I hope Marco Muzzo finds peace. And I do believe that even if you couldn't, I wasn't in the courtroom, I wasn't there during his thing, but I do believe that he is sincere in his, I choose to believe, sorry, that he is sincere in his please forgive me for what he did kind of thing. And you know what? That's more of the gateway drug, and that's the way it is. Because let's just face it, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about Marco Muzzo. If he was just saying it in the courtroom like, I'm sorry, and he's trying to pass it off, like, let's say hypothetically that he's trying to play like it didn't affect him that much. If you're a true human being with a true heart, it's going to affect him for the rest of his life that he killed 3 children and a grandfather. And I do nothing but pray for the Neville family. But anyway, that is what blows my mind about weed versus alcohol and gateway drug and 420 and all this, is we are allowing alcohol to be such a light sentence for drunk driving, or maybe it's because they know a true human being is going to be psychologically damaged to a certain point for what they did. If they caused injury during drunk driving, maybe it's just because there's still like, I know 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds that will drink and drive. Like, I know they're doing it, but I have no way to really prove it. And it's because, like, 20 years ago, it used to be like, yeah, I'll just have a couple drinks and I'll be right there. And it's too lax. It was way too lax for way too long. And alcohol is a true poison that people put in their body, right? And that is where the problem is. Alcohol is a true poison. And weed isn't. Weed is natural. It comes from the earth. God created the earth. He looked at the earth, everything he created. If you look at Genesis, it says, now, please keep in mind I'm paraphrasing because I'm bad at direct quotes, but God looked upon the earth and saw what he created and was pleased. And then he rested for the seventh day. And so weed is not the problem. Cannabis is not the problem. God's plant is not the problem. It's man that made it a problem. And because the weed is for everybody, but everybody chemically can't handle weed. So don't get me wrong on that either. Chemically, they can't all handle weed. Spiritually, they can't handle weed. I've noticed myself. If you're smoking, back in the old days, right? If I smoke around a person that's got negative energy around them, then guess what? It's just gonna be a problem, and there's dark energy around them. If they smoke for the sake of getting stoned or messed up, then that's dark energy that's around you, that's around them, right? So you gotta make sure you're smoking for the right reasons, whether it be eating, smoking, eating raw cannabis, whatever it may be, right? So I hope I explained it properly, what I meant by respecting God's plan and all that sort of thing. Because when you're mixing it with alcohol, that's disrespecting God's plan. There is wine that's coming out with cannabis infused or something like that. I read it a while ago on Facebook from one of the sisters that I know. She knows who she is, but I'm not going to say her name. And I will admit, I didn't read the article, so I'm not going to comment on that wine specifically. But I don't know if that's the greatest of fits, because you're putting alcohol, a man-made substance, and then you're putting God's plant in it too. But then again, Jesus turned the water into wine, right? It's maybe at that case, if it's for a wedding and you want to give it a shot because it's infused with God's plant, maybe it's okay. But spiritually and personally, I would say no. But everybody has their own right to make their own choices. And the last side note I'm going to say is that we did a little bit of digging, not the best digging, but we did a little bit of digging on what 420 means, and we're going to throw what we found that it means, and then we're going to throw what some people suggested, which I'm going to comment on one of them later, but I'm going to get my assistant to read that to you because he's closer to the screen. So here you go, buddy. Just read that out, and then I'll comment on the one thing in regards to someone's birthday, because that is hilarious.
All right. So back in the 1970s, there was a group of stoners calling themselves the Waldos because they liked to hang out in front of the wall. They would pass each other in the halls, exchanging glances and muttering 420 Lewis. One told the San Francisco Chronicle in 2000 that it was just a joke, but it came to mean all kinds of things like, do you have any, or do I look stoned? They used 420 as a code for their activities and the time said activities would take place.
All right, one guy offered up a theory below that says, well, isn't that Hitler's birthday? Well, last time I checked, a monster like Hitler or Trump, Hitler was not associated with cannabis. He was associated with genocide of the Jewish people. And the fact that you're lumping him in with God's plant, that right there is evil. So, I will say, we only could do a little bit of digging. So if anybody watching this video has another theory or another suggestion on what 420 means or what the origins of 420 is, then go ahead, let us know. Happy 420, and smoke God's plant responsibly, and God bless you all. God bless you all. God bless you all.